Most of us won't relate, but if you could imagine this scenario, and while we're imagining, let's do some time traveling to about the year 1996, and you've woken up from one of the craziest dreams about wizards living in a world hidden away from normies, later called muggles, and you decide to start writing some of these fantasies your mind has shown you. Then fast forward to a game based off of the same fantasies and ideas turned into a series now being said to be by some as transphobic and a danger to society, and that the game must be boycotted to avoid any further mental stress or damage. By now, you may have noticed that this sounds vaguely about an author you may have heard of that if you mistook as a rapper by name in your mind, I can see where you're coming from. None other than the highest paid author of all time, J.K. Rowling. We may have gotten ahead of ourselves a little bit though, so let's back up a bit to 2020, where it seems the timeline for Miss Rowling and the legacy of the saga for Mr. You're a Wizard Harry took a turn.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
And we're back. Welcome to the Overthinkers Podcast. I'm your host, Nimbus. I'm here with the co-host, LD Lights. How
What's
you
up,
doing, my
everybody?
man?
I'm doing good.
And so let's back up to 2020 after the first intro. Back up to 2020 where J.K. Rowling pretty much had her whole series flipped upside down from one simple action where Maya Forrester, I think that's how you say her name, might be Forrester. I'm sorry. But she was a pretty much an employee. I don't even have to go into what her job was here because you could look up the story. It's pretty intensive, but I'm just here to really paint the picture, set the scene. She was an employee that went to an employment tribunal where she pretty much was fighting to say that gender should be protected by law. And obviously, I think everyone should be included and safeguarded by the law. And I don't think she was inferring that people shouldn't be protected by law in any way by saying that sex is protected by law. But Judge Taylor then deemed that no, gender is not protected by law. And J.K. Rowling's whole thing was supporting Maya in this on Twitter, of course, because that's where most controversy starts in the world is Twitter. So she decided to, repost and say a couple things about how, she is not against the trans people, but very well believes that sex exists. And I'm not necessarily going to say what I think about that specifically. My thing for painting the scene is how does that, my question to you, man, how does that make the game in any way transphobic or dangerous? I know sounds like a dumb question, but this is actually something that's being discussed.
It's the type of thing where you need to just take not even just the content, I don't know how to say it, but like the series itself away from the author. Just separate it.
And that is another topic I was going to go into through introing it.
Because especially since the game, like, yeah, it deals with something she made, but like a lot of different people put a lot of hard work into that and believe the game. It's not just her.
It's funny you said that. I said the same thing to my parents, and my mom sent me an article about too bad it was on the New York Times, and I wasn't gonna pay to read it, but she's gonna listen to that, hate me. But but it's I said the same thing to her, where it was like there's so many people that, like, to be honest, how many of these people like really were diehard Harry Potter fans? Like, sure, maybe the lead developer was, the creator was, but some of these software developers, like, they might not even have read half the books or any of the books, and they're just there to, collect a paycheck, and they were hired to do a job. So it's just, I wanted to start off with that because it's fascinating to me how something like, that's why I started with waking up and making this series, because it started that way, and then it ends with her supporting someone in pretty much, a trial, and people didn't like that she supported someone else's views in the trial and then said something else to make it, not seem so blunt, but to be like, yes, I still support her. I just find it very weird that translates to like, okay, we can't play this game because it's transphobic. Make it make sense, way. Make it make sense to me. I know we're both baffled, but I have to sit here and at least try and make sense of it. Even playing devil's advocate is difficult, but obviously,
That would be like saying the same things about the movies.
see, that's where my other point was. It's like,
Yeah, it's just a shitty situation. It really is because like now her name is just attached to it, and even if the series wanted to do something in itself, it's always gonna just have that shadow over it now.
yeah, I don't really remember hearing too much about this one, like the Fantastical Beasts or whatever it's called. So
I did,
it's,
I
I
did.
heard a little bit about it, but I didn't hear as much about
Yeah,
it. I guess maybe I could have just not been looking in the right places. Maybe it was just as big then. I know it started in 2020, so that is when like the movies were still going. But I feel like we've gotten more of it now with Hogwarts Legacy and all of it. So I wanted to kind of continue the Hogwarts Legacy topic and go off of that from last week, but in a more serious light. I really do think the game's awesome. I've seen more gameplay. I've seen more reviews. It's getting great reviews. I think I just got recently review bombed by woke activists. I don't even really want to call them that, but it's definitely been a weird ride being a Harry Potter fan to say the least. Because I still love the series, and I'm more just have confused feelings towards J.K. Rowling, where it was like, did she personally know Maya? I just don't know why she had to make her views so public on that, because it was already done. Sometimes, my thing is like, if you don't know enough on the situation, or if you're not invested in the situation, it might not be the best to, especially if you're a famous person with other projects in the work, to say stuff on it. But I don't blame her. I'm just saying, if I was her and I was trying to play it the safest, it might have been an option. But I don't blame her for sticking up for someone. So going off of I, I don't even want to say bad products, even though the game was good, but I guess bad topics, just to get them out of the way real quick. Ant-Man Quantumania dropped, what, like Friday, over the weekend, essentially. I haven't seen the movie. I don't think homie here's seen the
no.
movie. So essentially, this is going to be more speculation and theory. But what do you think, out of what you've seen? What do you think Kang really did in Ant-Man?
I, 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 I I have no clue. Like, because he's just in the microverse, I think it is,
Mhm.
or whatever it is, quantum realm,
Which I just want to say doesn't make sense to me why he would be there of all places, but maybe there's a comic I completely missed.
which is still a part of the thing I don't understand why he would be there. Maybe quantum energy, maybe to give some power, like gun. I don't know, but like he's there, and Ant Man just shrinks down again and starts going, and then all of a sudden he just see like how every Marvel movie makes their villains. Like it's just the heroes going off and doing something, stumble across some either evidence that something might be out there, and or just see some other like motherfucker walk up just throwing hands already with a homie.
I don't know how many there Ant-Man lovers there are, but I'm just gonna keep it a buck.
I had high hopes. I can just say that. Like I'm not the biggest Ant Man fan, but he can be a great character when he's just not like the punchline Thor.
I
Like they're
haven't
making
heard
every
I
character.
haven't heard great things about the movie. The second one really got dunked on a lot. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Heard pretty much only negative things about it, other than a couple people who said that they recently, watched all the series and they thought they were okay. And
I mean,
essentially, my main
sure.
point of bringing this up is, why was Ant-Man the guy chosen to solo Kang? I know he's not soloing, but the Ant-Man family to solo Kang. That just doesn't seem like a good matchup.
I think I was telling you this. He has in the comics led the Avengers, both the iterations of Ant Man, the really bad version that is fucked up, and then the one that's just a petty criminal who actually just has a good heart. That one has led the Avengers also, and he's a like not the like. a carbon copy of Captain America, but he can lead them because
I was thinking he was more of a pseudo Iron Man, like more of a
but
Tony Stark.
that's what I mean exactly. Still, like if it was just like if Captain America was knocked out and they had Iron Man, they would still listen to his lead.
I just
And
find
like
that
he
hard to
could like, but
believe.
he was just the punchline. He's just a punchline.
I
That's
guess
all
more
they.
specifically in the MCU, I find it more hard to believe because first of all, Ant-Man hasn't done anything in the overarching MCU.
No, I know exactly. Other than just
And
be on house arrest in Civil War.
even when
No,
we have
before,
seen
after that, after Civil War,
right,
because
I do
that's why he
remember
got
that.
house arrested in the first
He chose
place.
the wrong side, right?
But that's what I mean. Like, if they didn't just make every character that's new and they introduce just a joke or just say quips constantly, like every character is Spider-Man.
I agree with you because like he's pretty much supposed to be Hank Pym, like he's supposed to be that guy, like he's not like Hank Pym's like futuristic type, but he's supposed to be
That's the thing. Hank Pym is the first version of Ant-Man.
right.
This version is Scott Lang. The second version, in the comics actually broke in, stole the suit and all that.
Right,
So they had like a Batman Beyond
right.
type of
Essentially,
relationship. So because it's same kind of thing.
yeah, he's supposed to be
And
Hank Pym.
So like
He's
that,
supposed to be that guy. It's just like even in Civil War, like he got caught up by Spider-Man, and like I love Spider-Man, but like in Spider-Man's story arc right then, and how much experience he had, and like he kind of should have got clapped out.
which is crazy because I was just gonna say Ant-Man really didn't have that long of time in his suit, but he had a whole movie.
Yeah, he already
With
had his
Yellow
own
Jacket.
movie at that point.
I completely forgot.
I'm
about
pretty
that.
sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Ant-Man 1 had already been out. Spider-Man hadn't even had his own movie
Yeah,
yet. So it was
Yeah.
like Ant-Man. They probably should have shown him love then. I know they're introducing Spider-Man, but like he got his shine with Bucky and Falcon. He clapped them up in that scene where like they're in like a mall or whatever.
I think so. Yeah.
Like, or no, it's an airport. They're in the
it's
airport.
an airport. Yeah.
And so he claps them up. He just 2v1s them. Like obviously he's not gonna beat every Avenger on his first
No.
battle, but
And I think that literally was just to make a Star Wars reference.
yeah, that shit
one
killed
scene.
me, bro. I was
Like,
so pissed. I probably shouldn't have been as angry, but like
But that's
I was
why he's just a joke now.
I was just so angry, bro. I
Because,
don't even
like,
know why.
And especially Kang. Kang's a crazy dude to go up against by yourself.
Yeah, see, that's what I
And
was saying.
especially when you're not Deadpool, who can make the quips and then just, reform himself and just annoy him to stop. Ant-Man doesn't have that capability. Like, yeah, he can say quips like they want him to in the MCU, but what else does he really got?
And so I guess really my last question about this is really like if Ant-Man was qualified to, I guess I have two questions. If Ant-Man was qualified to fight Kang, like, is there a way this should have gone? Like, that would have made more sense other than Kang all of a sudden being defeated? Because I did watch it a couple of seasons.
If this was done right, when he was trapped in the quantum realm, when everybody got snapped and he couldn't get brought back, like that's what happened to him, Kang would have been seen there. A hint of Kang. And this is serious, Scott Lang, you know what I mean? At
Yeah.
least enough, because he'll still make jokes and all that. Like,
Well, that's the other thing I heard is he made too many jokes.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
him seeing that, which is, I know, what they did with Thanos, but you have to at least do something. And if you had him fist fight him and get pulled away, it would have been a lot worse. Kang would have just pulled right up with Thanos and started throwing hands with them because that's how Kang works. He's an opportunist.
Yeah, I feel like it would have made more sense if Kang pulled up with someone.
Like this Ant-Man Quantumanium should have been like an Avengers movie thing. Like, yeah, he should be the mainstay because he has to the main because he has to shrink everybody down to get them down, and he knows all about it. But like, because there's no way I know he's not by himself. He's got Wasp, but
yeah,
like,
I said the same thing.
but
he
the
pretty
two
much
of
is-
them,
he
like,
pretty
they're
much is by himself.
she's by herself. Let's be
Yeah,
honest. 'cause
I was gonna say she's pretty much by herself. Yeah,
Let's
true.
flip this because she's honestly the only actual hero in this movie because Scott Lang's just a dumbass
Yeah,
who's just there for slapstick comedy. And she's literally actually taking down because the clips you'll see from any of the other movies that she's in with him, Ant-Man and Wasp, that one, she's literally taking down everybody as he takes down one guy.
Wasp is they've kind of made more of a powerhouse in the MCU.
That's why it should have just been a Wasp movie, because he's just like the side character. He literally is just made to be the side character. It's her father. She could have just taken up the whole mantle and then just gone, and they could have gone out, and it would have been. Then, fuck it. Quantumanium, at the end of it, I don't know what happens, obviously, but in this version, if it was like Wasp Quantumanium.
Right, like the right way.
Scott Lang, dead. She goes back up and then gets the team back together to go back.
It's funny you bring that up because there were a lot of people that said that he should have died because like there was like no stakes in the movie. That's the thing. He was supposed to die. Like he was fighting Kang like solo. He had everyone go, but then Wasp went back, and then like they ended up somehow just defeating him.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. Like I hate the spoilers.
Okay.
I'll probably put a spoiler alert on the video, but like
Yeah, I know in the comics it was a weekly comic, and they had to have the villains end it quick because they didn't think people's attention would be held with long stories, which they are now. Okay, but why would you rush a villain like Kang and just throw him away?
I don't believe he's dead, but like it doesn't make
Gore.
Right. Yeah, Gore is another one they did that to real badly. And I don't know if they're going to give Kang the Gore treatment quite yet, but
I guarantee he's
but
gored.
There's
pun
no,
intended.
There's no stakes though anymore. Like if Ant-Man pretty much by himself can beat Kang, like so my last question on this topic before I wrap this up and we move on to something else is if Ant-Man wasn't the right guy to, to intro the Kang fight, what other Avenger would you have had go up against Kang? I know half of them are gone right now.
The one that made sense to begin with, Loki.
And I think there was a Loki teaser at the end too. I don't know anything about that.
Which makes no sense because they ended the show of Loki, spoilers again, with Kang being a thing, right? Because I still haven't watched it, but like Loki is the mischievous god who's a hero now, like anti-hero. But he's the one that has the most knowledge about time travel. He's seen him, and he would have been able to at least use his mysticism to at least do something else to Kang, to at least warp him away to another reality. So he could have got away and been like, yo, Thor, this dude is here. They wouldn't have believed him because boy who cried wolf. And then Avenger level threat comes in.
And then link that shit with the TVA,
Exactly.
and then they go from the TVA. Even though to wrap this off, I do hate the fact that we have to watch like every Disney Plus show to
get everything.
Keep up with the movies now.
Yeah.
Because now you can't just watch the movies.
It's so funny. It's like the comics. They're making it like the comics because they'll have so many random side comics that you have to read to make sure you get the whole story arc. Like Civil War was like that.
Once you pay for a comic, it's yours. With the subscription shit, they're kind of trapping you because they're like, if you want to enjoy the Marvel movies as well, you need to enjoy all these Marvel shows. And if you don't like one of the Marvel shows, you might miss one of the Marvel information and the cameos from this other Marvel movie. Mm-hmm. And then if you don't see that Marvel cameo, you might miss out on this Marvel movie in the future.
And then if you don't pay attention to the finite detail of every scene, every background image, they're probably putting stuff in the background the whole time, and they want you to find it.
I miss simple Marvel, man. Like I liked when they did callbacks and shit, and they had little, pretty much Easter eggs that led to shit. But this is getting
there was
ridiculous.
1 or 2 Easter eggs.
Like they do crazy Easter eggs so that they call back to comics and shit. They do more Easter eggs like that. But now we're getting into shit where it's the
1 or 2 callbacks or Easter eggs to the actual comics they would have in the movies would be a subtle poster hung up in someone's room.
They started doing a bunch of them. I saw one where it was there was 60 Easter eggs.
That's what I mean.
Where it was crazy. Even ones where it was it was mostly old references, but they started getting crazy with them. But really, I didn't mind those as much. But it's these where it's now you gotta find all this shit. You gotta be fucking Sherlock Holmes, Sherlock MCU Holmes with this shit. Where you gotta go through all the files and you gotta go through Disney Plus and oh my god, bro, it's just killing me. And this is probably a morbid transition, but speaking of killing, I haven't really seen too much about this, but apparently the DA drops the firearm enhancement in the Alec Baldwin case. I'm not sure what exactly has been going on with that, but I haven't seen too many people talking about it. So I just wanted to have a little segment, and for people who didn't know what happened with that, pretty much Alec Baldwin was on the set of there's an old Western, I think, show,
Yeah.
and it was called Rust, and pretty much he ended up, I guess the prop gun ended up a real gun and ended up shooting the cinematographer Helena Hutchins, and he's pretty much been in court for that for the last, I think,
It's
year.
technical manslaughter. That's why.
Yeah,
Even
and
if it's an accident, that's still manslaughter because the first thing they're gonna say is gun safety.
yeah, he'd been convicted of involuntary manslaughter
Yeah.
and firearms enhancement charges. I'm not quite sure what firearm enhancement charges are. I have to look into that more. If anyone knows, I would love someone to start the comments on information on that if I don't see anything in time. But essentially, the max jail time he faces now is 18 months. So he he has to have the firearms enhancement charge dropped, which would have had him behind bars for a mandatory of 5 years. And this is such a weird situation to me. Like
It's
I'm,
such a shitty
it's
situation.
yeah, it's so sad, but it's also so it's just so weird. Like like obviously this would be like if this was just like
It
an
was
accident, it would be sad.
Bruce
But
Lee, right?
right,
Same thing, and his son, I think too.
yeah, yeah, that was
Same
crazy.
same things where the prop guns had real bullets, or it was a real something, or the real
just-
gun had real bullets instead of prop bullets, something like that.
And like I guess back in the day, I guess I could believe that more.
But that's what I'm
like,
saying.
but, like-
Especially after those two,
Yeah, so that's
concurrent,
what it's
like-
more weird for me now. Where
Yeah.
I'm like, where
especially with how much gun safety is a thing. Like this
Exactly.
shouldn't have happened.
exactly. It's so sad and so.
And like I
weird.
already like when it first happened, everybody was saying that like whoever handles the props should be at fault.
Like, how do you accidentally load a fucking gun? Like, I don't understand.
But that's what I mean. Like why would they even have real bullets on set?
I don't really get it. I guess I might not know enough about how like prop guns work and shit. and,
Because
if
it's
they
like cap
actually know.
guns.
That's
It's-
what I was thinking.
It's a spark and a flash with
Like every
smoke.
kid's had a cap gun.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And then they have squibs on the person that explode with blood packets
Yeah.
in the spots where they get
Where
shot.
they get shot. Like that's where I'm so confused. Where like, how did this happen? Especially on such a big set with someone like Alec Baldwin.
That's what exactly.
It's-
You would think the gun safety would be so much more like serious. It's
I wish I had more
crazy.
information.
Yeah, it's
essentially that's
crazy.
why this is so weird to me because like, I guess it
It's
could
something
have.
that just also you hear in the background. You never really get the full details of what exactly is happening now, what's happened before. You just like, oh, you see a clip in like the news of Alec Baldwin in court or something like that, and you just hear about it, and then it just progresses.
And
It's
it,
not talked about.
you never
either.
see too much, even when it's in articles. Like this one article I'm reading, I've read a couple, and I've read a Fox News one too. Which that one was it's so vague, and it's like obviously I read Fox News just to get the most weird aspect on news, to be honest with you. But it's just so vague. Like I think it was like after a gun Baldwin was holding fired on the set of Rust in New Mexico, the shot injured director Joel Souza. It's like
I didn't even know that
How?
either. I didn't even know that. So what is that a ricochet or was there
It's
two
just
shots?
there's always just so much vagueness with some of this shit that I really don't know. I guess it could have went through her and into him, which is crazy. Like I'm just like with a prop gun that like you have like a whole ass caliber like that.
That's what I'm saying. So that's crazy. How could a prop gun? So it has there. Would that mean it would have to be a real gun with prop bullets then? Because there's no way a prop gun would be able
That's
to
why
do
I'm like,
that with
it
real
doesn't
bullets.
really seem like a prop gun when it's doing real gun damage, you know?
Yeah,
Like I know
exactly.
that's fucked up to say, but like it's It's how my mind is computing this right now, and I'll say it once again. I might not know enough about prop guns, but like I've seen enough cap guns to know it's possible to make it at least look sort of real. Like it just doesn't
Need to be real.
it doesn't compute to me how this really happens on, especially movie sets. Yet again, with someone like Alec Baldwin, like how much money has this man made?
And how much, like, insurance would that movie set have? It sounds random to bring up, but like the insurance goes with safety regulations and all that type of stuff. Like, wouldn't they have more high standards of safety regulation to protect the people on set, especially when they're going to be having guns that may potentially have real bullets in it?
It's crazy because I'm seeing from The Guardian too that Rust is to resume filming with Alec Baldwin and a new cinematographer,
My
according to The Guardian, 5 days ago. Huh.
I feel so bad for the family.
Yeah, wouldn't you think they would have at least replaced Alec Baldwin?
Yeah, that's what I'm like.
He is a producer on it too,
But at that
but
rate,
you still should have replaced him
scrapped and restarted it. At that rate,
or just scrapped it.
exactly. Because that's just no, like, no
No.
respect to the
Yeah, man,
family at that point.
That feels very disrespectful.
Yeah. Oof. Oh.
Honestly, that just makes me even more sad about the situation because it's like, wow, they just killed this young girl, and now they're going to film it
Continue
anyway.
it.
Which like they stopped filming, of course, but like it just doesn't make sense to bring Alec Baldwin back after that.
And the fact that he already like you said, we don't know all the details, all that, but like that family wants to see some type of actual real sentence. I'm not saying life, but I'm saying like something.
Like it doesn't feel
And
like
now he's just gonna be able to go back to filming that family. I feel so bad.
I just feel like two people who really should be kind of held responsible for this is the people responsible for the prop guns, the gun safety,
Yep.
and Alec Baldwin because he should have double checked it honestly. Like it kind of when you're handling guns on set, you probably should be double checking all the shit you have.
It's crazy to say, but you should always just get that like low, weird spider sense handling prop, especially real guns, but even prop guns, handling even Nerf guns. You get that weird feeling where you're like, damn, is there a Nerf bullet in there?
Yeah.
And you might just pop off on someone and feel bad after.
Yeah, and even if he didn't, if we're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and he had no idea about any of this, it's still his responsibility as the one who's holding the gun.
Exactly.
So yeah, for the last topic that we're gonna go into to try and lighten the mood a little bit, so it can be a quick little section at the end. Is they're making a Spider-Man noir show on Amazon, and I haven't seen too much about this, and I don't know if anyone really knows too much about Spider-Man noir.
So much. He's probably one of my favorite Spider-Man besides 2099.
I was gonna say I've been reading
This
more
man's
about him.
Parents were eaten by the vulture. Eaten.
Wow, just straight up eaten.
Yeah,
I heard they
bro.
were killed, but I didn't know they were.
My man was
eaten.
Yeah. That's why
Jeez.
it's not Green Goblin who is his number one. It's Vulture.
Wow.
You get Hammerhead more prevalent because he's more of a noir 50s or whatever 30s villain, like a mob villain.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah, honestly, if for anyone who doesn't know about Spider-Man Noir, it's it's more of like a detective. It's more
Yeah.
like if Batman was Spider-Man, kind of,
yes
because it's more
yeah.
tragedy, more,
Yep, exactly.
more serious shit,
Uses the shadows,
and he's more of a detective. Like
Yeah.
Spider-Man's smart and all, and he does
Yeah.
his own investigations in his own way.
Side note, I really hope that they didn't bring Spider-Man Noir into the Miles movie because they're giving him the show, and I swear to God, if they don't give the voice back to Nick Cage, I'm gonna throw hands. That man played that voice so well.
Right? Imagine if there was a live-action Spider-Man Noir and
They
he
gave it to
did
Nick
it.
Cage. You give it,
He did
give it
it,
back
bro.
to him. He would, bro. He played so well.
That'd be an awesome movie. Honestly, that shit
Like
would
a
sell.
noir detective, you tell me you can't see him
That
doing that.
shit would sell like motherfucking
Pulling the
hotcakes,
mask off and
man.
you see Nick Cage's face. Come
Bro,
on,
people
now.
lose their mind, especially if they started off with him in the suit, and then like first 20 minutes, you don't even know if it's Nick Cage or not, and then all of a
But
sudden
you hear the voice,
Yeah.
and you're like, dude, there's no way they dubbed his voice in, and that's
they're just like, yeah, no, he did a voiceover. That's
yeah,
not really
exactly,
him.
yeah.
And he takes off the mask and his hat and shit.
Nick
And they're like,
Cage.
oh my God, it's actually Nick Cage.
I'm going back to that movie, or I'm watching that show.
Jesus born,
God,
it's
if they
Jason Christ. That'd be one of those moments.
Yep.
It'd be like,
Yep.
oh my God.
If that was a movie, I'd have to walk out.
That'd be fine. You know,
Not in a bad way. I'd have to walk out because I don't need to see anything else.
mind would be melting.
Exactly. Yeah, that would be too good.
Some Indiana Jones Crystal Skull shit. You'd be seeing that shit and you just start fucking
Side note,
melting.
Back to the game of real quick, Indiana Jones. That's made by Bethesda. I can't remember if I said that last week or not.
We might have. I can't remember either.
But I just wanted to say that quick because that just lends that crazy open world of Bethesda mixed with indie, which I feel like would be such a...
All right, the last one, since we're on Bethesda, the last one, then we'll wrap this up.
I didn't mean to...
It's
Okay,
because
cool.
you said Bethesda, but that also brought me into another topic I was going to bring up in a future one. But Elder Scrolls 6 has been delayed yet again. We will get it. Who fucking knows at this point?
All right, but
Fuck
when we
Tom
get...
Howard, man, because that's why Tom Howard's a demon. Not, but we're pretty much getting it between 2028 and 2030 now. Yeah. So essentially, how this breaks down is, Starfield, which is the other Bethesda game they've been trying to push out. We all know Bethesda's real slow.
Yeah.
It's just the way that they've set this up is now that we've had Starfield be, delayed and now it's being released hopefully this year, apparently. Once that's done, then the real development on Elder Scrolls 6 gets started. And not just the pre-production, which apparently has pretty much only been pre-production for years. Because all the people that have been working on Starfield are going to be the people who are working on Elder Scrolls 6.
That's such bullshit, though.
That's what I'm saying is why they even give us a 2024 release date to begin with then if Starfield wasn't even coming out till 2023.
I just don't understand how they...
I hate to do this to you though, man. You're kind of part of the problem because you recently bought Skyrim and you know how many people are still, it's not even just you, but like there are still so many people buying Skyrim. And it's kind of ridiculous because they released it. I hate to put you on blast, but they released it 10 times, and people still buy this game.
I have never played it before now, so that bus hit really feels different.
Shit,
I'll let y'all know.
It's
crazy. That's crazy.
Oh shit, that's
so
crazy.
The first time I ever got to play is the time I get roasted for it.
I'm sorry.
I knew I shouldn't have played this game.
I know. See, now he's gonna return his shit. Refund.
I'm gonna make Nintendo give me that money back.
But really, it's not even like they're the problem because it's these people that have played this game, but then get another console and they're like, well, now I gotta buy Skyrim again. And then they're like 3 consoles.
But that should have just been more funding toward the game.
You would think. And it is, but
yet
not
again,
in a timely manner.
From Bethesda to Nintendo, they're doing that with Mario Kart. I don't know why a bunch of companies are just doing that, and they're acting like the pandemic's still a thing, and delaying everything and making it such like Bethesda. Yeah, I know. They're always going to be slow and monotonous because they're very, very detail focused. I know, but like. Every other company is pretty much doing the same thing.
Yeah, I don't want to say the pandemic isn't a thing still, but for some of these companies, it's not. Like, I agree because, like, for some of these companies, it's really not. For some other companies, some people are still going through it with trying to get their business back up.
Yeah.
We're going through pretty much an economic spiral after the pandemic. But with some of these companies, like, Ubisoft and shit, who made, like, $2.7 billion last year.
And especially Bethesda, when people are still buying Skyrim, and they're still buying
the last game that was released,
Fallouts. They have plenty of opportunity and funding to be able to and give their employees a safe space to work, but still be able to give them a chance to work.
Yeah, that's
what I mean. Like,
yeah, that's really what's been weird. I hope Starfield's really good though.
I have no clue what that is.
It's pretty much a space game. It's gonna be lit. I'm hoping there's gonna be a really good, starship combat and stuff. I don't know how deep they're gonna go into it. I haven't done too much research in the last couple of years because maybe they're waiting so long for it. It feels like they're just gonna delay it again. But now that we're hearing real Elder Scrolls 6 information, kind of. That's the thing that really gets me is like, why put out release dates then if you guys really, either don't know or you know it's not going to be released. And that's really what I'm mad about.
Yeah.
But the
Don't know.
games could be good, so it sucks. But we have people I'll see in the comments who are like, I was 11 when Skyrim came out. I'm gonna be damn near 30 when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, and I'm like, yeah, pain. I feel you. I'm right there with you. I was playing that when I was like, 13.
Dude, yeah, I was gonna
like
say
12 or
13.
and now I'm like 24, and I still gotta wait like another 4 years for the holy shit.
Okay. What if they're giving a cushion now? I doubt they are, but
We're being optimistic with that one. I hate to say it. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Because that's just like, when has Bethesda ever released
Done that.
shit early? I hate to say it.
And
But
they only release games late. They're worth it more often than not, but still.
yeah. But you know, it's been litty because we've been having some other games crop up. Like we're getting, that the new Star Wars game for Ubisoft that I'm kind of excited about. I know it has mixed reviews.
What is that going to be about?
But it's with what's his face? With I want to call his name Finn, but he's not Finn. It's the Old Republic shit essentially. But, oh my god, why am I blanking on the name of the next Jedi Survivor? That's the name.
I'll say
Not
it now.
game. Holy fuck.
Also, just to flame comments if we want, or the people want to give us the comments.
Yep.
Star Wars is trash compared to Lord of the Rings. No cap.
We're starting a war. We starting
cap.
a war. Holy
cap.
shit. Grab your guns. Dig your trenches. We starting a war. I know.
Y'all are stormtroopers anyway.
I already know we got a bunch of Lord of the Rings fans, so we're about to. I already know it's to lose a war for the Star Wars heads, and to be,
y'all ran out of gas.
To be fair, like I was watching a little clip where it's like, what's your favorite Star Wars movies? It's Phantom Menace, Empire Strikes Back. Like no one's watching the new shit. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares about it.
It's so true.
What it is. So if anyone has any other cool projects coming up, cool games, music, I think there's someone who was releasing an album this year that I was actually very excited. Hobson just released his first track off his album, and he's actually doing it where it's like cinematography type shit, where he's putting out like movie, like MCU level type movie, like scenes with his music. I think the first track's called The Arrival. So if anyone wants to look up some cool new rap, new Hobson, that's my recommendation for the week. It's short because it's literally like a movie scene almost, where it cuts in some ladies like, if you turn that machine off, I'll send you on the first shuttle back to Earth. And then Hobson's in like this fucking sphere of energy, like he's Goku, and then just starts rapping. It's great. So essentially, if anyone has any other things they got going, that's my recommendation for the week. If you got one, you can throw it out to people to watch or listen to.
The only other things I have to say to watch out for, just for the smiles, is any details about the Aquaman movie. That's gonna be a fun
That's
time.
Gonna be a banger.
And the Blue Beetle movie that they're talking
I'm
about.
excited for the Blue Beetle movie.
Those both are gonna be pretty decent, and
I'm a Cobra Kai head, so I really like the actor that they have for Blue Beetle. I think he actually will do a great job, depending on the script. Really, depending on how they write him, because Cobra Kai is a pretty well written show, and he's a pretty good actor. So, really depends on all that. So yeah, if anyone has anything else they want to leave in the comments, we'd love to hear it. I've been your host Nimbus. This has been my co-host LD Lights over there. I hope everyone has a great day. Peace.